Banditos, what up? Your boy Tux here. Look, I'm just a little old Division 2 guy who dropped 70 bones on Borderlands 4 and got hooked, then totally lost in its chaotic flute explosion. These types of games are my jam, but honestly, it felt so frustrating at first because every guide I found assumed you'd played Borderlands before, to some degree, glazing over the basics us outsiders desperately needed. Like, where's the real welcome for folks jumping in blind? Some of the stuff I'm going to cover you'll see in other guides too, of course, but I'm trying to get a little more granular on the things others just breezed over, so you can hit the ground running with less headaches. This guide, it's my tribute to you, players new to this series, solo grinders like me who just want to dive in without the confusion. I slogged like 30 hours or so through the campaign, fell off cliffs, and filled my backpack with so much junk that it was a pain. And I did that so you don't have to. So, real talk, no fluff, to nail the campaign and slide into endgame without rage quitting. Lock and load. Let's do this.
Wait, did we just become best friends? So nice to meet you. I think you're cool.
Real quick, we need to get you up to speed on lore. So, this is your quick cliff notes, no spoilers. So Borderlands is a sci-fi universe where corporate overlords like Hyperion and Maliwan strip mine planets for profit. But the real draw is the vaults. Ancient alien vaults stuffed with godlike tech, weapons, and power. Legends say they hold iridium, a glowing resource that amps everything, but opening them unleashes monsters and mayhem. Vault hunters, you, are ragtag badasses chasing these vaults for glory, loot, or just to stick it to the corpse. Key characters in Borderlands 4? Well, you've got returning stars like Lilith, this fiery siren leader who teleports and rallies the resistance. Moxie, the sultry bartender with a knack for shady deals and killer cocktails. Claptrap, the annoying but a little bit lovable robot sidekick who'll glitch your comms. New faces like the Timekeeper bring dystopian vibes to Kairos, but it's all about that rebel spirit against corporate hell. Hopefully that gives you the gist and helps you not feel so lost. So you start by picking a Vault Hunter. Harlow the Gravatar, Rafa the Exo Soldier, Amon the Forge Knight, or Vex the Siren, which is basically a space witch. So no wrong choice. Most players level all four eventually. I went with Harlow and I absolutely love her. She's a crowd control queen with her chroma accelerator, great for clearing mobs, but squishy early, so watch your health. This isn't really mentioned out there, but I'm gonna tell you right now, Harlow, I think, is the best Vault Hunter to start with. The majority of the damage coming out of her weapon is actually skill damage because of how her chroma accelerator works. So what this does for a new player is it opens up more exploration of weapons because you're not so tied to exactly what that weapon does. Now, she does do better with RPMs, so there's that, but early game, that's not going to matter much. Vex is trickier for newbies, Amon solid after patches, and Rafa's a blast for general chaos. Now, I haven't gone through all of these yet, so that's just the word on the street. Pick who feels right. Harlow's just my vibe. Okay, the campaign's your core. So a wild looter shooter story with aliens, explosions, all sorts of stuff. It's meaty, 20 to 30 hours if you explore, maybe 40 if you poke around every corner and try to use every weapon like me. I skipped side missions. I'm saving them for later. We'll get into that. But it still felt like I got my $70 worth. You'll hit level 30-ish by the end of the campaign, and the cap's 50 for full leveling. So missions scale to your level, so there's no need to grind XP early. Just enjoy the story. Kairos open world is absolutely massive. It's split into biomes and then zones. Most have safe houses or silos for fast travel, set markers for map or compass pings. Echo 4, this little robot guy you can activate. For me, I hit up on the D-pad. He will drop nav lines to guide you, but check the map. He's spotty, trust me. I feel like he trolls me sometimes. And checkpoints, these little computers, they auto-save when passing. You don't have to interact to save your game. So navigation's rough at first, but just a few hours in, Wheels of Fortune, a mission, will unlock your digibike. It zips you across Kairos like nobody's business. You can free spawn this vehicle at any time in most places, and you'll also be able to upgrade this for speed and handling. An absolute quality of life game changer, making exploration a breeze. Vault symbols on the map? Grab them. No spoilers. Just do it. So there are these domed areas in the open world. They hide random bosses. Pop them for XP on loot whenever you see them. They're fun engagements. Be aware that there's this blue aura looking stuff. It's basically outlining the perimeter of the objective that you're working on. That's all it is. So side missions are your XP and loot goldmine, but hold off during the campaign. They scale to your level, but uniques like legendary weapons are often one-time drops. So save them for level 50 so that you get them at max power. So I skipped all sides, hit low 30s, and it worked out just fine. You're juggling 5 resources. You have ammo, gold, skill points, specialization points, and erodium. Ammo's everywhere, like restock crates and other shooters, but enemies get bullet spongy. So stay topped off. Gold's for vending, benches, reviving. It's plentiful, so don't sweat it. I never had any gold issues. Specialization points unlock at level 25 via Forge Your Path mission. Tweaking builds in the specialization tab, think endgame fine-tuning, and with Harlow, for example, this brought a lot more survivability and quality of life to the build. Erodiums for your workbench crafting, like firmware swaps. You're gonna start to get this before you need it, just bank it early. It's more of an endgame resource. So that leaves you focusing on XP and SDUs solo. SDUs, which are storage deck upgrades, expand backpack, bank, ammo. Get these points from safe houses. You need to clear enemies first and then find hidden digital devices, which are a pain in the ass to find. Sometimes you find yourself running in circles for a half hour, but you'll find them. They are on site. You don't need to go anywhere else for those digital devices. And then you have silos. They're pretty easy. You just have to navigate a tricky path. Figure out, how do I get to it? You can see it, but how do I get to it? And then once you get inside, just interact with the console. There are 2 parts to silos. There's the control tower, which is the part that you discover and unlock and then fast travel to. And then there's the actual silo bay itself. That is actually a way to travel around the map quickly. You use your grapple on these sort of like little jetpacks, and they'll send you off in the direction that you want to go. So you can choose which direction you want to jetpack off to by grappling to the one associated with that direction. As far as spending your SDUs, backpack first, because loot reigns and full inventory is an absolute fucking misery in any game, but this one too. So I pumped SDUs into Harlow's SMG ammo early on also because she leans into that weapon. Otherwise, I was all in on backpack and then bank. Safe houses have fast travel, vending, and activity boards. You're going to save the boards for endgame XP, so there's not much to do here early on. You'll just be using them as fast travel points. Movement's one of the reasons why I love this game. So you can dash in all directions. This is important. You can use it to sidestep a boss slam. This is something you're going to want to practice and master early on. It will definitely improve your survivability. I'm on the Xbox, so the button that activates this for me is B, and then the direction you want to dash into. There are some times where you need to hard slam, which is basically like a Superman pose, whatever you call that. All you have to do to activate this is long press B. If you're flying in the air and you want to get to the ground really quick, this is a short way to do that. So you can grapple the high ground or use grapple points to flank. Look for these little markers around the map. You're going to be using them a lot to climb things. There's a little tutorial early on, so I won't go too much into this, but you can also climb walls. There are these graded metal walls, and those are your climb points. Inventory equips your loadout. So you're going to get 4 weapons, a rep kit, which is a repair kit, ordnance, which includes grenades, knives, or heavy weapons, enhancement, armor, and a class mod. So these are things you unlock. You won't have access to everything when you start the game. Firmware shows on the left whatever is being applied, and they do stack. Grenades and rep kits are infinite. So the only limitation you have there is cooldown. So spam away. No need to be sitting on these things. The exciting part, your Vault Hunter's strength lives in the skill tree. And man, I am geeking out. It's like crafting the perfect loadout with a sci-fi twist. You're gonna wanna pick a direction early to shine solo. You've got 3 pillars, a red, a green, and a blue, each tied to a playstyle and your action skill, which is basically the core of your build. Take Harlow. Her red pillar amps her chroma accelerator for mob clearing chaos. Green boosts survivability. The blue pillar to load up more on the cryo. You'll earn skill points with XP, 1 per level. spent in the character menu's skill tab. These unlock passives like extra damage or health, and later your augment, which is a mid-tier perk, and capstone, big ticket power at the bottom. You can only pick one augment and capstone per tree, so focus on one pillar early to unlock its full juice. What I'm basically saying, and nobody explains this, is that you can actually invest and gain the benefits from multiple pillars. For example, I'm primarily invested in the red tree, and I'm dabbling in the blue pillar to grab some of the perks over there that will help my build be more well-rounded. And this carried me through tough fights. So no stress if you mess up. Hit a respec bench in any hub, drop some gold, and rearrange your points. Experiment, but don't spread points thin. It'll leave you weak. Peek at guides for your hunter's pillars, but keep it simple and lean into what feels fun. The freedom hooked me on Borderlands Chaos without feeling stuck. Let's break down the weapon UI, because those symbols can kind of trip you up at first. So the bullet icon, or the splat, shows damage per shot. Higher hits harder. Crosshair is accuracy. Tighter spread means fewer misses. Circular arrows are reload speed. Lower numbers means quicker reloads. Burst lines are fire rate. Shots per second. Faster is wilder. Clip icon is magazine size. More bullets before reloading. So DPS combines these, but don't trust it blindly. A gun with lower DPS but elemental damage, like fire or shock or whatever, often wrecks harder because of those plus bonuses against enemy weaknesses. And that's a huge game changer, so pay attention to the elements. Weapon swapping's your quality of life hack, especially solo. It's extremely frustrating because the wheel is there and it looks great, and in theory it is great, but it's not so awesome until you get a handle on your quick swaps. So just by tapping Y, you're gonna cycle through your weapons in a clockwise fashion. This is okay, but really slow to get to the right weapon. So if you hold Y to open the weapon wheel, then use your right stick to pick one of your 4 slots, you're gonna get to the weapon faster. The downside is there is actually a weapon swap speed handling attribute in this game. If you don't have the best weapon swap, this can feel painful. Happens to me all the time. I hit the wheel, I select the weapon, it doesn't swap. And sometimes it swaps to the wrong weapon. And that is so frustrating because I'm sitting here shooting the enemy and I'm like, hey, that's not the weapon I chose. So one of the things that I learned, and I'm on the Xbox, is that you can double tap your weapon to more accurately get to one, but it only works across the wheel. So for example, I have the SMG at the top of my wheel here, and below is that blue shotgun. So if I just double tap, it'll quickly go to the shotgun, double tap back, it'll quickly jump to that weapon. But I can't get to the next one. Now, if I want to go to the shotgun to the right, all I have to do is tap once, and there it is. Now, if I want to go to the assault rifle on the left, I can double tap, and it crosses over. Practice this. Trust me, this is the lifesaver here. I could do a whole video on this because it was very frustrating to figure all of that out. Nobody tells you this. Now, the manufacturers behind those guns. So each has a story and a style. So Daedalus, named for the mythical craftsman, makes balanced, reliable weapons, your go-to for steady performance. Jacob's old school gunslingers craft high damage guns with ricochet bullets, perfect for crit hunters. Maliwan, techie elemental wizards, focus on charge-up guns with fire, shock, or corrosive. Sci-fi alchemists at heart. Order, a new corporate faction, builds tactical precise weapons for sharpshooters. Rippers, named for the brutal cutthroat vibe. Tedior, a scrappy budget brand, makes throw-to-explode guns on reload. Kind of fun to use. And then Torg, founded by a bombastic showman, packs every shot with explosives. Also fun to use. Vladoff, rebel freedom fighters, churn out high fire rate guns with spin-up barrels for bullet hoses. Some brands only appear as licensed parts, like Atlas. Corporate trackers add homing darts. COV, cultish psychos, bring overheating mechanics. And then Hyperion, sleek tech lords, these boost shields. So these parts mix into any gun, like a Vladoff pistol with Atlas trackers, making builds insanely fun. And that's what licensed parts are. And then you have firmware. Might be confusing at first, but it's actually insanely simple. These you get at level 25 from a mission called Forge Your Path. These boost things like guns for like 25% more reload speed. Anytime you get something with firmware, I suggest banking it. Doesn't matter the color, green, blue, purple, because you can rip that firmware perk off of that piece and put it onto another one, no matter the rarity. When you see these, stuff them into your inventory and then shift them over to your bank so you don't fill up your backpack. Loot pours like a broken slot machine. So you have gray, green, blue, purple, and gold is legendary. And there's even a more rare one called pearlescence that you may or may not ever see. And there's also talk of a new one coming. I forget the name of it. Mark trash as junk for auto vend sales. Okay, you want to do this. Keep your backpack lean. Okay, the big question, what level do you start on? Well, I say start on normal to learn the shooting, grappling, and basically just staying alive. Around level 10, switch to hard. It boosts loot drops like purples and rares and makes elemental damage your best friend. Change difficulty anytime in settings. So hard mode ramps up enemy health and elemental bosses. So elements are going to give you an edge. If you don't match it up right, it's punishing. Enemies have health bars. Red for flesh, blue for shields, yellow for armor, purple for rare energy shields. Match elements to shred them for plus 75 to 175% more damage. If not, you're in trouble. Incendiary, fire, burns flesh. Makes sense, right? Electric, rips blue shields on corporate soldiers. Corrosive, which is acid, toxic waste, green crap, melts yellow armor on robots or heavies. And then purple energy shields on elites or bosses. Tank kinetic, which is neutral, guns. They'll often have a little symbol next to their bar, and that's the element that you want to match. Kinetic safe at 100%, but carry a mixed arsenal. It's really frustrating when you don't have the right weapon for the job. As you roam Kairos, keeping your gear level matched with enemies is key to not getting steamrolled solo. So every enemy's health bar shows their level. Check it to see if you're underpowered. Missions scale to your level, but enemies in tougher zones or dungeons can spike a few levels higher. Always loot new weapons and check their level in your inventory. Swap to high level guns, even if the rarity is lower. For some vault hunters, it doesn't matter, like Harlow, because she gets her weapon damage from skill damage, so a level 1 is the same as a level 2000 or whatever. But if the vault hunter you're using relies on pure weapon damage, then definitely stay up to date. So focus on damage and elemental match. Vending machines and mission rewards drop gear at your level. Only use vending machines if you're desperate. By endgame, aim for level 50 gear to tackle UVH enemies. Mission tab tracks main, side quests, and contract tab holds bounties that you've accepted. Going solo means you're facing every enemy alone, so let's talk about who you're up against. It's like learning the factions in a new shooter. So early on, you'll meet bandits, psychos charging with axes or gunners spraying bullets. Their red flesh bars melt under fire like kindling in a blaze. So corporate soldiers come next, the blue shields that regen fast. Hit them with shock to strip that defense quick. Armored enemies like robots or tank heavies have yellow bars, so make sure you have corrosive on hand because it's going to eat through them like nothing. And then you have the badass elites. These guys are beefier, mixing bars and hitting like a freight train. So kite them with your grapple and swap elements to match their health bars. Movement is very key to surviving this game early on especially. Deeper in, vile or super bad enemies appear with resistances or explosions when they die. If elements fail, fall back to kinetic. It's your neutral safety net. Machines like turrets, blend shields, and armor. So use shock, then corrosive. Bosses are multi-phase chaoses with adds swarming you. Spam ordnance to clear the mobs, then match elements per phase. The worst, well, they're the purple energy shield dudes. On elites or mini bosses, they shrug off kinetic shots. Think 50% damage reduction. And I got wrecked by badasses with this stuff until I figured it all out. So going back to the bosses, dungeon bosses are highlights. Tough arenas with multi-phase mechanics, you gotta learn to win. They did a great job with boss design. I truly enjoyed every single fight. So early on, they're puzzles. You gotta dodge ground slams, break shield generators, or kite ads while hitting weak points. I wiped many times on my first tries. Pay attention to the telegraphs, glowing floors, roaring audio. The pattern will eventually come to you, and that's survival. Most likely you're gonna be doing this solo, so make sure you use movement. Stay nimble. You're gonna see these weapon caches that you won't have access to, so you need these gold keys. You get these from shift codes that are actually outside of the game, and you would have earned these from pre-orders or social media drops, something like that. If you get any of these keys, then you want to sit on them and save them for endgame, because you're going to get legendaries and you won't be able to upgrade them. They won't scale with you. So save for level 40 plus, but best if you get them at 50 in my opinion. Otherwise, they're just going to end up as junk. Post campaign, you're ready for the endgame grind, and that's where Ultimate Vault Hunter mode kicks in. UVH scales up world difficulty for better rewards, more XP, juicier loot, but it's amping up the mission's challenge for better gear. There are 5 UVH levels now, with the 6th one on the way, each tougher but loaded with better drops. To unlock UVH 1, head to Moxie's hideaway and talk to Lilith. She's your ticket after you complete your story. Then open your menu, go to missions, challenges, and the Ultimate Vault Hunter tab. You'll see a list of challenges. You can clear them in one session to activate UVH 1. It's solo friendly if you got a solid build. Once you're at UVH 1, you're now at the level to maximize your farming. You'll get the better loot and XP for the level of difficulty. Currently, UVH 2, 3, 4, and 5 are just not worth it when it comes to farming. Once you're in UVH 1, focus on hitting level 50 to unlock all skill and specialization points. Vile bounties are your go-to. Tough enemy contracts from activity boards at safe houses, so perfect for XP and gear. Replay campaign missions for extra loot and points too, but that's not going to be as fast, but great for solo grinding. Important tip, avoid public matchmaking. Modded lobbies can brick your save or crash progress. I don't know if there's any patches for this, but beware. So stick to solo or friends only for a smooth ride. So that's my noob guide to surviving Borderlands 4 solo, and I really hope these tips save you some headaches. Was that $70 worth it? For me, absolutely. I feel like I'm still at the tip of the iceberg here. So let us know where you are in the game and if there's anything to hear that have helped you. But also, if you have some good tips, please feel free to drop them in the comments and help the community. See you at the rendezvous. Thank you for hanging out with me. If this one landed right, do me a favor. Smash that like, sub, and flip on notifications so you catch everything I'm cooking up next. Huge shout out to all you channel members and donors out there. You're the real MVPs, keeping Tux Nation rolling and growing stronger every day. If you're feeling the vibe, come join Tux's Players Club. Doors wide open for everyone. Kick it with hundreds of banditos powering this community and unlock a bunch of sweet perks, plus my raved about gamer music playlists. Perfect timing too. Fresh beat packs just dropped for the Bandito to the Bone level. We're talking regular waves of pure gaming music fire for our top supporters. Click join or the link in the description for the full scoop on everything. Seriously, jump in if it feels right. Can't wait to see you on the member side.
Wait, did we just become best friends?